What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on Ram Central. I am Josh Riesenberg. You may be wondering why Cooper Levin is not here today. I'm sadly to inform you that he has some personal issues to take care of, and he will not be in the videos anymore. But on the other hand, we have a new co-host, Max Bernstein. Say hi.
What's up, everybody? Good to be here. Thanks, Josh, for having me, and I'm excited.
Max, you want to talk a little bit about what sports you like, who are your teams, a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a fan of so many different sports. I watch everything, but my main sports that I love watching, football is my main sport. I love football. I'm a huge Miami Dolphins fan. I also kind of root for the Green Bay Packers. Don't hate me for that. I know there's a lot of Packers haters. I'm a big basketball fan, big Heat fan, and I've been following football for a while now. I'm very passionate about it, and I formed a lot of opinions, so I'm glad to be sharing them with all of you guys.
I'm glad that you are here, Max.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I don't think I said it in the first video, but I'm going to say my sports, who I like. I'm a Dolphin fan. I am a Heat fan. I'm a Marlin fan. I follow a lot of college football, college basketball. I am an Ohio State Buckeye fan. Max is a Gator fan. We have our rivals there, here and there. But yeah, I know a lot about my college stuff. With that being said, this video will be a way too early 2021 mock draft. Let's hop right into it. With the first pick in the 2021 NFL mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select. I'm going with QB Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. Why? Because he's the best quarterback in the class. He's been good since he was a freshman, and I think he's going to be a face of the franchise for Jacksonville, getting rid of Gardner Minshew. Max, who do you have with the first pick?
I'm going to agree with you here for the Jaguars. I have them taking Trevor Lawrence as well. A generational talent at quarterback, in my opinion. And I know it hurt you to say that he's the best quarterback in the class over your boy Justin Fields. But
we'll see. If there's a season, then I think Justin Fields is going to get that Heisman, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But Lawrence has all the tools to be the next great quarterback in this league. He probably will be the highest touted quarterback coming out of college since Andrew Luck, and before that, John Elway probably.
Right. With this QB battle of Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and who do you take? I see Justin Fields more of a dual threat guy, can pass. Trevor Lawrence is more of a pocket passer, although he can run. I think, though, if there's a season, if Justin Fields still wins, I don't think whoever has the first pick and needs a QB, they're still going to take Trevor Lawrence just because of the talent. And Justin Fields will be top 10 pick, but he will be the second quarterback off the board. With that being said, the second pick in the draft is the Redskins. I have them taking the best tackle ever to be recruited in the draft is Penei Sewell. I think with that leave of Trent Williams, I think they're going to have a hard time with that offensive line, and they need someone to back up Dwayne Haskins or whoever the QB is the future is, and Penei Sewell is a great guy to show that off, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to agree once again here. Sewell was so good last year that he got a second-place Heisman vote. So that tells you a lot about how good of an offensive tackle he is for Oregon. Obviously protecting Justin Herbert for the last couple years. Highly touted prospect, will definitely go in the top 5. I have him at number 2. The Redskins need to fill that gap at tackle now that Trent Williams is gone. And Sewell can be even better, which is crazy to say. Williams is a fantastic tackle.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. The third pick, the Cincinnati Bengals. They selected Joe Burrow, their QB of the future, in 2020. I have them actually going on the defensive side of the ball. I have arguably the best edge rusher in the class. I have them taking Gregory Rousseau out of Miami.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with you here. You're making some great picks, man. I mean, I'd be really tempted to add Jamar Chase back with Joe Burrow, get that duo back, but there's
Look
bigger
at the
needs.
receiver core. They just took T. Higgins with the second round. They took Tyler Boyd. They still have AJ Green, who I don't think is going to be good. They have John Ross, who's the biggest bust in NFL history.
No, not NFL history.
No, it's definitely Deion Jordan with the third pick from the Miami Dolphins. Deion Jordan, if you're watching this, please get better at football.
Please don't hurt us.
Don't hurt us.
But I'm also going to take Greg Rousseau here. As a Florida fan, I don't like Miami, the Hurricanes, a lot. Like, I despise them. But they have two of the best edge rushers in this class for sure.
They have a pretty good class for Miami.
I know.
For Miami in the draft.
A little scary. But for me, Greg Rousseau, best edge rusher in the draft. I think the Bengals fill a big need here by adding him. So I think that's a good pick.
So with the next pick, the Panthers are on the clock. You could go anywhere with this pick. They signed Teddy Bridgewater in the offseason. They signed the Phillip Walker from the AFL. Was that it? XFL.
XFL, yes.
And personally, I don't think that's going to work out for them. So I think they're going to take the second quarterback off the board. I think they're going to go with my boy, number 1, Justin Fields out of Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. And the way they structured Teddy Bridgewater's contract is that pretty much all the guaranteed money is this year. So if he doesn't live up to their expectations, they could cut him and obviously target a quarterback here. I'm going to have to agree with you. I think they could go anywhere here. But I think Fields being there is very good value. Obviously, they're going to miss Cam Newton, but this is a franchise quarterback. So I don't think he could miss out on that opportunity.
Speaking of Cam Newton, we are recording this on May 18th, and he hasn't signed. He probably won't sign for another couple weeks. Where do you think he's going to end up?
I have not the slightest clue, to be honest. New England?
New England, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm happy because they're in our division and I don't want them to be good.
I agree,
I don't think Stidham is going to be their future at all.
No, I agree. I don't see it. But, I mean, I think they're going to give him a chance. Even if they sign Cam, they may start Stidham, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I could see them signing, there's some other quarterbacks in free agency too. I mean, it's crazy. We'll really see what happens. I don't know what to expect there.
All right, with the 5th pick, the New York Jets are on the clock. This is where things get shaken up. I think I'm going to go with the best linebacker in the class. I'm going to go with Michael Parsons, and here's why. If you look at their linebacker core, they have Blake Cashman, who I think is underrated. He could be something special in that defense. They have CJ Mosley, who's getting up there in age. I just think they need someone like Michael Parsons who could go in them and smack everyone in the face. And he's a big hitter and a fast guy, and I think that's what they're looking for. So I'm going to go with the New York Jets taking Michael Parsons out of Penn State.
Yeah, interesting pick there. I'm finally going to disagree with you here, though. I'm going to have Parsons going pretty soon. But right here, I think the Jets are going to take a man from DBU, and that pains me inside to say that Ohio State is DBU, but they are. I mean, Jeff Okudah this year, so many corners.
Damon Arnett?
Don't get me started on that pick. Don't even. But here for the Jets, I'm going to take Shaun Wade, the cornerback out of Ohio State, my number 1
Great
corner in the class.
Corner.
Yeah, and I think that the Jets, they brought back Brian Poole. There's not really much going on for them at the corner position, and I think their linebacker core is actually one of the strengths of their team, personally, if it could stay healthy, which is the big issue. But I think they could address that in later rounds, so I'm going to go with Wade here at pick 5.
6th pick, the New York Giants. How about we switch it up and Max, you go now.
All right, speaking of Micah Parsons, I think this is a perfect position for him to go. I mean, considering they could take a wide out here in Ja'Marr Chase, who's still on the board. But Parsons, like you said, very athletic, tackle machine, can rush the passer, kind of like a little bit like Isaiah Simmons. I think just less
that's a good
athletic.
comparison. Yeah.
A little less athletic, but maybe more productive. So I think he's a very interesting player. Continues the Big Ten run for me, and I think that's a good fit in New York, who needs the quarterback of their defense really bad.
Yeah. So this is a weird pick for me in this situation. I'm looking at their team needs. You could go corner because of what happened to DeAndre Baker, him getting arrested. I don't think he's going to be on the team for long. Their D-line is not the best. You could go Marvin Harrison out of Florida State, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think what's going to happen is that they're going to take Shaun Wade out of Ohio State.
Yeah. Interesting pick. I like that.
With the 7th pick, the Lions. I'm going to have them taking Marvin Wilson out of Florida State.
Yeah, he's one of the players I was definitely considering at this spot. But the more you think about it for the Lions, they still have Matthew Stafford, and, I mean, they have Kenny Golladay at wideout, but Marvin Jones is getting up there. There's not really anything else going on there. And with Ja'Marr Chase on the board at pick 7, I think that's too much value to pass up on at this spot. So I'm going to take Ja'Marr Chase from LSU for the Lions here. I think that'd be a slam dunk selection for them. And plus, they already addressed the interior D-line by taking Derek Brown, even though I think Wilson would even strengthen that. I think that this is a really good pick for them. So.
Okay, just cut. My hair is killing me.
Dolphins time, back to back, which won't happen. Texans won't be that bad.
Hold on. Okay. Where
I don't know who I just changed my whole mock, so don't know where Marvin Wilson's going now.
Okay.
I'm having a sip. Give me a second.
Okay.
Coolio.
3, 2, 1, back. With the 8th pick, the Miami Dolphins have back-to-back picks. I don't think that's going to happen, but in this case, why not? Without being said, you look at their wide receiver core. They have Devontae Parker coming off a great year. They have Albert Wilson, who I don't think is that good. Preston Williams, rookie season, was all right before tearing his ACL. I'm going to go with Ja'Marr Chase out of LSU. Great receiver. Can't pass up on him. So I'm going to go with Ja'Marr Chase.
Yeah, I'm going to flip-flop with you again. I mean, I love Chase, and I'd love to get Ja'Marr Chase on the Dolphins. But unfortunately, he goes right before us. I'm going to address the safety position for Miami. They took Brandon Jones in the 3rd round this year from Texas, but obviously still a big issue for the team. And now that they're much stronger, they've addressed the old line. I think they have the draft capital to take a safety early, like Javon Holland from Oregon, who's my number 1 safety in the class. I think is an absolute monster. Could play at both safety positions. Kind of reminds me of Derwin James. And I think he'd be a big playmaker in the Dolphins secondary.
Yeah. All right. With the next pick, it's the Miami Dolphins still on the board. I'm looking at safety too. I look at Javon Holland. I look at Hamza
Nasildarim, I believe.
I look at Caden Stearns. All 3 of them have good value, but I think I'm going to go with Javon Holland right here.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I like the pick. I just took him for the Dolphins, but I'm now going to address the other position you addressed, which was the wide receiver spot. And with the Dolphins sitting here, a lot of great receivers on the board, a bunch of first-round talent, strong receiver class. But I feel that the Dolphins are going to want to add a guy like Justin Ross. Still a little bit raw, but an extremely talented player, has played with Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. We saw what he did in that national title game against Alabama as a freshman, and he had a strong year last year, so I think he'd be a huge receiver for the Dolphins, literally. Big guy. I think he'd be a great pick for them here.
Next pick, the Denver Broncos. I have them going offensive tackle here. I have them going Walker Little. He's a little on the older side just because he's been in college for a while, but I think he is great, and he's going to be good for the Broncos, backing up and protecting Drew Lock. So, yeah.
No, I like the pick. Tackle is a pretty big issue for them, but I feel like how the board has come for me, Marvin Wilson's still on the board here. They do have a need at the interior D-line spot, so I think that Marvin Wilson is a great pick for them. I think they did well in the draft this year, but they addressed the offense. So I think their main issue for next year's draft should be the defense, and I think Marvin Wilson would be a great plugger up the middle.
Falcons are on the board now. I have them going in guard. You look at Creed Humphrey and Wyatt Davis, Trey Smith. I have them going Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State just because I think he's going to be better than Creed Humphrey this year. Yeah, I'm going to go with my Buckeye right here.
Yeah, interesting pick. The Falcons have needs, but at the same time, they're a strong team. So with that being said, I'm going to look towards the future. I'm going to make a shocker pick here. Yes, quarterback.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
Like the Packers did.
Yeah, but I think if the Falcons are this early, then something didn't work out right. The Packers needed to take a receiver. As a Packers fan, I get the pick, but then you take A.J. Dillon in the second. It was not smart. I think they're going to end up making a trade for Kenny Stills because the Texans really don't need him. But we'll see what happens there. I'm going to take not Trey Lance, who's my favorite quarterback on the board here. I'm going to instead go with Jamie Newman, the transfer who transferred from Wake Forest to Georgia. Obviously, transfer quarterbacks have really succeeded. Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield. So I think
Baker Mayfield has succeeded in the NFL.
I think he's fine.
Okay, go watch that tape again.
He was great his rookie year. I think he can return to that form. But I think Newman will have a good year for Georgia, which also pains me to say. But I think he'll be solid. And I think he's different than Matt Ryan, which is what the Falcons are going to look for. Something new. More like Mike Vick than Matt Ryan.
All right, with the 12th pick, the Cardinals are on the clock. I have them taking plain and simple Justin Ross. Max described it already. Quick.
Yeah. This is an interesting pick. I think they won't be picking this high. I think they may make the playoffs. Bold prediction. But I think that at pick 12, sitting here, the Cardinals could add a receiver, but I think they add another kind of weapon in a tight end. My guy from Florida, Kyle Pitts, matchup nightmare. Him and DeAndre Hopkins on the same offense is going to be scary. Scary. So I think that's a huge pick for them. I think he'd make their offense so much better.
All right, 13th pick is the Bears. It's an interesting situation that the Bears are in. They have Trubisky, and they traded for Nick Foles earlier in the offseason. I don't think any of them will work out. I have them taking QB here. If you look at I have them taking Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. Going with another not popular college for football quarterback, so...
No, interesting pick. I'm going to get to Lance pretty soon, and I have a little chunk to say on him. He's one of my favorite players in the class. But for me here, I'm going to take a guy you've already taken. Still on the board here for me. I think the Bears have a need at offensive tackle. I'm going to take Walker Little. If the guy can stay healthy for one season, he'd be a very good player. So I'm expecting a pretty good season for him at Stanford, and I think he'll end up with the Bears.
14th pick, the Raiders are on
Las Vegas.
the clock. Let's see what they need. I think they're gonna go with a tight end. I think they're gonna go with Kyle Pitts.
Interesting pick to pair him with Darren Waller. That'd be a really good duo.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm going to take Trey Lance. And the crazy stat is the guy doesn't throw interceptions. And, I mean, I think the Derek Carr thing was pretty good at first. It's kind of gone off the rails. He's 28, I think. He's getting up there. They're paying him a ton of money. But I think that a team would be very interested in picking him up. So I think that would be a very solid pick for the Raiders. Their quarterback of the future, Trey Lance.
Yeah. If we look, the Browns are on the clock now. I'm gonna go with them taking a linebacker here. I'm gonna have them taking Dylan Moses out of Alabama. I think he's a great player. Decided to stay another year in Alabama, but I think he's top linebacker in the class, and I'm have them going here.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with this pick here. I think it's not. It says it's not one of their biggest needs, but I personally disagree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think their linebacker core is the weakness of their team. So I'm going to also pick Dylan Moses, who's a tackle machine. Would have been a first-round pick in this year's draft if he didn't go down with that injury, but he decided to return to college. So
Titans are on the clock now. I'm going to go with tight end here, and this is why. Because Delanie Walker has left. Their offense is not the best. Obviously, they have Derrick Henry, who's a standout running back. But I think they need another threat at that position. If you look at wide receiver, I think they could address that in another situation. But tight end, there's a slim amount of good ones. And I think they're going to address it here. I'm going to go with... I had Kyle Pitts go 2 picks before to the Raiders just because he fits their scheme better. But I'm not saying that he's the best tight end. I don't think he's the best tight end in the class. I think Pat Freiermuth is the best tight end in the class. I think he is insanely good at playing football. And I think he's going to be excellent for the Titans. And yeah, I'm going him.
Yeah, that's a good pick there. This is a tough one. I think they could go in many different directions. I'm going to add a wideout for them. Mm-hmm. I think Corey Davis didn't really pan out how they wanted him to. A.J. Brown had a great year, but they don't really... Adam Humphries isn't really that good of a weapon. So I'm going to take... I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle out of Alabama. He may not be as good of a receiver as Smith, but obviously more explosive.
Very fast.
Yes. Yeah. Very explosive. He'll be their kick returner, and he will be a good player for them. So I'm going to pick Waddle.
With going back to the Tennessee Titans, that wide receiver situation, I just think they can address that second, third round, or off-season, even free agency. I just don't think they need to address wide receiver that early in the draft when they have other positions they need. Mm-hmm. 17th, they got Jaguars, their second pick in the first round. I'm going to have them going with a safety. I'm going to have them going with Hamza Nasir-Jalin, if that's how you pronounce it. Sorry. I watched his tape. He's pretty good. I just think they need someone because they had a lot of leaves, such as A.J. Bouye and Jalen Ramsey. So I have them taking an uprising superstar, hopefully, in Hamza Nasir-Jalin.
Interesting pick there. I'm a big fan, but I'm going to opt to take a tight end here. And I like Pat Freiermuth a lot, personally, but I think Brevin Jordan is a better fit in Jacksonville. Freiermuth is more of a possession guy, kind of reminds me of Zach Ertz a little, but Brevin Jordan is more of a big playability guy. So I'm going to go with Brevin Jordan out of Miami, the tight end.
Okay. 18th pick, Minnesota Vikings. They need edge. I'm gonna go with Quincy Roche out of Miami. I think he's one of the best edge rushers in the class. I think he's gonna be good with that Vikings team getting a little up there in age. They had Everson Griffin leaving. I think they need another threat on that line to pressure the quarterback, and I think Quincy Roche will be a great add to that defense. So, yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, interesting pick there. I'm going to opt to go on the inside of their D-line with a player I personally really like in this class, which is Jalen Twyman from Pittsburgh. I think he's going to rise up draft boards kind of like Javon Kinlaw did this year. Really good run stuffer, and his tape at Pitt is really solid. I'm a big fan, so I think that he'd be a really good fit, and pairing him with Michael Pierce would be a pretty good duo. Why are you laughing?
You said runs.
What?
You said run stuffer.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's not run stopper?
No, you could run stuffer too. That's a thing.
I thought you just mumbled on your words. And you were
Run
like,
stuffer.
Run stuffer. He's such a run stuffer. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Alright. Alright, the Charger.
The Charger. The Charger.
Charizards. The
Charizards are on the clock.
Okay. The Chargers are on the clock. Run stuffer. Okay. The Chargers are on the clock now, and I think they're gonna address corner. I have them taking an American Heritage high school guy. I watched him in high school because my sister went to school there. I have them taking Patrick Surtain out of Alabama.
Yeah, I love Surtain, but the Chargers have to take a tackle. Like, have to take a tackle. Sam Tebby is their left tackle currently. So, to fix that, I'm going to go with one of my favorite tackles in the class, Sam Cosmi out of Texas, who, has been kind of average, but I'm expecting him to have a really good year, actually, on the O-line for the Longhorns. Hook 'em.
Yeah. 20th pick, Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Big Ben era is over. I think Mason Rudolph is not the answer. Therefore, I am taking Jamie Newman out of Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good pick. If he was still on the board here, I'd definitely take him or Trey Lance. But with the quarterbacks on the board at this spot, we'll look at them right now. Brock Purdy.
If you take Kyle Trask, just unsubscribe to this channel because obviously he's biased.
I will not take Kyle Trask.
I'm just kidding. Please subscribe. Leave a like.
Yes, please subscribe. Is Emory Jones here? I mean that's pretty. No, he's only a sophomore. That'd be an interesting pick.
Oh, the running back for LSU.
No, the quarterback for Florida.
Just cut that part.
Emory Jones, a running back for LSU.
Just cut that part.
Okay. Yeah, so the quarterbacks on the board, Brock Purdy, KJ Costello, not a big fan. Mm-hmm. Maybe Tanner Morgan. But honestly,
Morgan, yeah.
I'm going to go with a little out of the blue pick. I am not a James Conner guy. I respect him, but I think he's not very good. And the Steelers need the lightning in their offense, someone that can carry the workload because Conner's very injury prone. And I think that's Travis Etienne, who's my number 2 running back in the class this year before he decided to return to college. He is a fantastic player. The only downside, he's a bit of a downhill runner, but I think he can improve, and I think he's a very solid player.
Yeah. Next pick is the Indianapolis Colts. This is interesting. I don't think they're gonna adjust offense. I think they're more of gonna go with defense. I think they're gonna go with shocker that he went back to college was on the top 5 corners in my draft board. I have them taking Paulson Adebo out of Stanford.
I personally like Adebo returning to college. Now he's raising his stock this year. But I'm also going to go with a cornerback. I'm going to go with Pat Surtain. I think he's a very solid corner. He's up there with Shaun Wade. He's my favorite boundary corner in this year's class. I think maybe one of the best corners in man coverage in this year's class, while Debo's more of a zone corner. So I think it's pick your poison there, but I think Surtain is a solid player.
All right, with the 22nd pick, the Patriots are on the clock. The question is right here, do they have a quarterback? I'm going to go with no, because right now they don't have a quarterback. So I'm taking it that they're going to play Jarrett Stidham. I'm going to go quarterback here. I think from the Patriots standpoint, they're going to take someone with a shocker. I'm going with if the season in college football were to happen, who would be the 4th best quarterback? In my opinion, I think it's Tanner Morgan. I think he has great weapons in Minnesota. I think it's going to be high up there in Heisman votes. I think Tanner Morgan is going to go into the first round, and he could be a steal. I think he's a great player, and that's why I'm taking Tanner Morgan to be their new quarterback on the New England Patriots.
Yeah, that's a very interesting pick. I'm going to pull a Patriots move and not take a quarterback because they seem that they really like Jarrett Stidham. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go with the receiver, Devontae Smith, who I think is a fantastic receiver, who is so underrated because he plays at Alabama. But I think right now he's the best receiver at Bama. I think he's better than Jalen Waddle, but I think teams opt for the more explosive guy, as we've seen with like John Ross getting picked early, guys like that. So I'm going to take Devontae Smith here for the New England Patriots.
With the 23rd pick, the Bills are on the clock. I think at this point, they're the teams that just need to upgrade more, and they're a solid team, so they just have to get pieces. I think the Bills are going to take Creed Humphrey out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with this pick here. I think Humphrey's the best interior offensive lineman in the draft, and he's versatile. He could play anywhere on the line, and I think he'd really improve the Bills team that's already really strong.
24th pick, the Packers are on the clock.
Only one way you could go here. Only one position you could go here.
I mean, I'm going this on if there was a season, who's going to be that guy who's going to step up? I mean, you look at the receiver class and it's deep. I like guys like Daz Newsome. I like guys like Rashad Bateman. Therefore, with the 24th pick, the Packers are going to be selecting Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota.
Yeah, I love this pick. I'm going to agree. I'm a huge fan of Bateman. I think he's a really solid receiver, and I think he immediately improves the Packers, and that's what they need. They need, even when Jordan Love is there, you still need to add some weapons. So I think Bateman is a fantastic receiver, underrated because of how good this class is.
The Eagles are on the clock now. I have them taking Josh Myers out of Ohio State.
Yeah, interesting pick. I like Myers. I'm going to opt to go a different way here for the Eagles. Obviously, they addressed cornerback by trading for Darius Slay, but they still have a need at corner. So I'm going to go with more of a zone corner. Paulson Adebo, one of my favorite players in this year's draft class. I think he's a stud.
The 26th pick, the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know because they always take just ridiculous players every single year. So I'm not going to scroll all the way down and pick eeny, meeny, miny, mo and pick that random guy. But I'm going to go based on skill. I'm going to look at if there was a season, what receiver would be the best. I'm honestly taking Rondale Moore out of Purdue. I think he's a great slot receiver. I think they have deep threats with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. I think they need that slot guy that can take that screen passes and be that huge fast guy like that Tyreek Hill. And I think Rondale Moore represents that a lot. So I think Rondale Moore is going to be great for the Seahawks if they take him.
Well, Josh, since you're not doing it, I already know my guy. I'm going to scroll down a little bit at the cornerback position. Let's see. There he is, number 224, Israel Mukuamu, the corner from South Carolina. I guarantee you he will go in the first round. I'm serious. He's very good. I don't know why he's that low. He's going to somehow, the Seahawks are going to see something in him. And I think he's a good fit here. So I'm going to take Mukuamu. I think he may actually go in the first round.
Yeah. Okay, the Buccaneers are on the clock now. They're just a crazy town. Tom Brady, Gronk's getting old. Gronk is old. I think they need a replacement. I don't think O.J. Howard will be on that team for a while. I think I'm going to take Brevin Jordan here out of Miami. Just to increase that offense more. I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, interesting. I'm also going to take a replacement, but I'm going to take a replacement for Tom Brady. I'm going to go with a guy you talked about a little bit earlier. I think it's a steal, Tanner Morgan.
Okay. Cowboys are on the clock now. I have them taking a safety. I have them taking Caden Stearns out of Texas. I love this player so much. I think he's going to be insane for the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys have a need in their secondary for sure, but I think there's a guy on the board that they can't pass on, and that's Pat Freiermuth. I think he's going to remind them so much of Jason Witten, and I think he'd be a really good fit in Dallas for that offense.
Yeah, going to the last four picks. Saints are on the clock. If you look at their roster, they have a lot of Buckeyes. I have them taking a Buckeye here. I have them taking a wide receiver. I have them taking Chris Olave out of Ohio State. Just because I think he's going to have a ridiculous year because of the chemistry between Justin Fields and Chris Olave. They get touchdown after touchdown, and he is such an underrated receiver. So I have the Saints taking Chris Olave right here.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I'm also going to address receiver, but I'm going to go with Rondale Moore, who you talked about, a dynamic playmaker at the receiver position. I think he could be, lightning and thunder with Michael Thomas. I think that'd be a great duo for whoever's the Saints quarterback next year, because I don't really think it'll be Drew Brees. I think it may be Taysom Hill.
Yeah. The 49ers are on the clock now. I'm going to go with running back. They just traded Matt Breida. I don't think any of their running backs right now are the solutions. I think if there was a season, like I said before, who would be the best running back in the class? I have Chuba Hubbard right here.
Yeah, I'm a big Hubbard guy, but I think he's going to end up falling to the second round in this draft. I'm personally going to take Hamza Nasildoreen, the safety from Florida State. I'm big on him. I think he'd be a really good fit in that Niners defense.
The 31st pick, the Ravens are on the clock now. I have them taking a receiver. I have them taking Jalen Waddle just because of the speed to pair off with Marquise Brown. I think that's going to be a great fit with that high, fast-powered offense. I think that's just another weapon to add to them. So, yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I'm going to opt to go on the defensive side with Quincy Roche. Reminds me a lot of Matt Judon, who they have on the squad. I think having a second Matt Judon would be pretty valuable. So I think you get two Matt Judons for the price of one.
Yeah. All right, last pick in the first round in our mock draft. The Chiefs are on the clock. I think they have to address defense. I'm going to have them taking Carlos Basham Jr. out of Wake Forest. I really haven't watched much of the tape yet, but I heard he's a pretty good player. So, yeah, I have the Chiefs taking him.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick. There's so many good players on the board here. Sucks to have so many solid players falling into the second round here, but I'm going to go for a offensive lineman. I'm going to take Wyatt Davis. I think he'll immediately improve that offensive line.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video on Rams Central. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit that like button. Hit that bell button so you never miss a post. Thank you, Max, for being on the channel. He is my co-host, so he will be on the channel from now on. We'll catch you later, guys. Peace.
Peace out.